It really just depends, right?
I got a hilarious story from last night. I won't tell it. Wait.
What?
I'll throw it out there.
You can't do that,
you guys
dude.
back here, don't judge me, okay?
Okay.
No, you don't have to judge me. Just
All right.
don't judge my son.
I
How
like
about
this. Okay. But just don't use names.
No names.
You just said your son. Okay.
One of my kids, my oldest son. Okay.
Or not. Okay, your oldest.
My oldest son, yeah. Okay. You know who that is, right?
Yes.
So he's like,
hypothetically.
He's like, I need some advice. I'm like, all right, what's going on? He's like, well, I was flirting with this girl on Snapchat.
Okay.
And I sent her dick pics. And
wow.
Yeah, no, seriously, like this is the real shit now.
Dude, what? This is different than like how we fucking grew up, bro.
Dude, we didn't have the opportunity to even do it.
I hate to like age us right now, but like it's just all this shit.
I wouldn't have even taken a fucking Polaroid of my dick. Like, what are you thinking? So
or you would have just took it of someone else, or like you would have like just took it of like a picture of like a porn star or something.
Yeah, no
like,
shit.
What's
yeah,
up?
you don't,
like
don't send your own junk.
I mean,
don't send your own junk.
Your own junk. Okay.
So,
but now
he goes, now she's trying to extort me for money. And
what? They're extorting now in fucking high school. Like,
and
dude,
so she's like, she sends screenshots of everything and his like friend contact list on Snapchat, like all the people he follows.
Holy shit.
He's like, I will send you your dick pic to all of your friends if you don't pay me this. And so I'm like, all right. And he's like, well, what should I do? I was like, well, have you been responding? And he's like, yeah. And every time she comes down on price, like from 500 to 400 to 300. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, first of all, you're probably talking to a dude that is like from another country that's just trying to extort people for money, and that person was flirting with you, so to speak, to get a dick pic and then extort you. Like, I highly doubt it's a girl.
Oh, so this isn't like a girl that he knows.
No, this is a girl that, like, I don't know, hit him up on Snapchat and like wanted to talk.
Just like
so they were just like online
gosh.
flirting. She probably sent, or that person probably sent him nude pictures, that sort of thing. He asked what to do, and I was like, I would do nothing. Just like stop responding, delete the person. Like, they're probably doing this to 100 other people right now.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, and I said, so now think of the worst case scenario. It's like, okay, what? And I was like, that this person sends your dick pics to all of your friends. I was like, honestly, like, are you really gonna be ashamed of that? Like, is that a bad thing? And he's like, no. I was like, okay, I think you're fine. I think if those got leaked, you might actually impress some people.
It's good fatherly advice.
So yeah, you know, it's like you just gotta
impress your friends.
It's just like,
and say like, I mean, how many of them have already seen it?
It's like, dude, it's not like you don't have like a 2-inch dick. You're doing okay, bud.
Okay, dude.
Okay?
Like this, we can't talk about this.
Let's
not give details.
I fucking changed his diapers.
Details. I know, dude.
Anyways,
Holy
so that
shit.
was a fun little phone call last night for a little while. So, all right.
Will, happy birthday.
Oh yes, thank you. I am the big
4-1.
It
was a while ago, but you know.
Oh, and I forgot, we're back here at Go With Your Palate.
Oh yes, oh yeah. This is how I love
the
like
podcast
our introduction. Yeah, this is Joe.
Chris Fat Mario Rubio.
Right here, Joe Wagner, 5th generation winemaker.
Shut the fuck up.
TikTok
Jesus
star.
Christ.
Sorry, you guys don't. You don't know what he's.
Star?
He's TikTok.
Is that what my life is
TikTok
resorted
star
to?
first. Yeah, TikTok
shit,
influencer.
Man. No joke. I was in Starbucks on last Wednesday. In Starbucks, and placed the order and everything, and the barista's like, I just have to ask, are you on TikTok? I was like, yeah. And she's like, I knew I recognized you. I was like, fuck you. I was like, you do know that I actually make wine and stuff too. It's not.
You just like fucking sit there and wax bottles and shit, and you get wine poured on you. Wait, you make wine?
It's embarrassing now.
Okay.
It's getting embarrassing. It is. I don't know this strange new world. I don't know what it's coming to. I don't know where we're going to end up.
Hey, did you get a free coffee, though?
But I'll tell you what I never did. I never sent a dick pic. No, I didn't get a free coffee, and then I had to tip her extra just to leave a good rapport, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You don't want to be like the guy that's like, oh, yeah, I'll give you $1 tip for my $3 coffee.
Yeah.
After she's like, oh my God, I love your stuff. You're like, I'm gonna give you
God.
$3 tip for my $3 coffee.
$3 tip.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down.
Wow, that's good.
Make
Well,
a
you wanna-
lasting impression in her
Well,
mind.
then she'll TikTok about it, and then you'll be there. It's like you're just crummy tipper.
Just tag me. Just tag me.
You've never sent a dick pic? Okay, just wanted to confirm that.
Nope,
That was something
no.
I had to circle back.
No, I mean, I don't even know. It's just got to be awkward to like even take one, right?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, it's not a pretty thing.
It
like,
just
it
seems
doesn't.
like it seems like it causes trouble.
Yeah, is there such thing as like a pretty or beautiful, handsome dick? I don't think so. They're all ugly. Like some odd appendage that's just hanging off of your body. Like, really? I don't know why.
Really?
I don't know why women are
Right?
attracted to them.
Send us your thoughts. Let us know what you think. You heard it straight from Joe's mouth, right there.
All right. Where were we at?
Okay, well we were gonna stop. We're gonna have a Vineyard update, but like,
Oh, that's right.
Before
Yeah.
before we get into that, real quick, how was your birthday? I think you did some snowboarding.
I went to Aspen, Colorado,
Woo!
and it was fucking epic.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. I haven't been there for years, and like, I mean, we got some great stuff here in Tahoe. Like, North Star is an awesome place to go skiing, but the snow is so different in the Rockies. Like, it's dry, fluffy powder. It's like you're on silk. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And the mountain is massive out there at Snowmass. So, had a great time, celebrated my birthday, went to this great, like, Asian fusion restaurant called Jing. Ordered, like, just a bunch of random stuff from, Wagyu, foie gras, a whole bunch of sushi, whatever else. But it was a great time. But the skiing we had like 2 days of it, and I couldn't walk last night.
Yeah, you couldn't walk.
Yeah, no, my wife had to put me to bed.
Yeah, she had to did she
Like, massage me.
How did she put you to bed though?
She
Because
literally,
she carried you.
Picks
Or-
me up off the floor.
Dude, hell yeah.
Not
She's talking-
fully. I mean, she
Oh,
can't.
she didn't cradle you.
I mean, 220. Come on.
I'm 220. I'm 220.
So what am I? 310.
Dude, no, dude, you're fucking lighter than me, dude. You're like 180.
But no, Aspen. So there was a funny sign. Aspen's actually like a legit place. Like, I love it. Beautiful. There's like two big separation. There's a big separation of classes there, right? You have the super wealthy, and then you got the ski bums. Like, that's the two that are there. But it makes for a really interesting dynamic. Like, when you're in downtown, you got like the ski bums that are just party animals out drinking, doing crazy stuff, and then you got the super wealthy people that are, I don't know, decked out in their like Fendi fur and shit. It's like just
Fendi fur.
yeah. So I find myself more on the ski bum side, which they tend to have a lot more fun too. So that was it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the sign.
Oh, the sign. That's right. So what keeps it legit though? What keeps it legit?
I want to get into some drama.
I didn't sleep well last night. My fucking back is just killing me.
Dude, you're back. Why did you get...
I'm 41 now,
Wait.
man. I'm almost
All right.
dead. It's a matter
I
of
know.
time now.
Did you get that MRI back?
Nope. Haven't
Okay.
even gotten an MRI.
All right,
yet.
but can we make sure that we do update everybody? Because I know everyone wants to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, I'm sure
That you're
everybody
not
cares.
broken.
I'm so happy. So
'Cause that's
happy
why
you
they're
guys all
tuning in
care
right
about
now.
me.
They're like, I'm so glad there's like those little chapter things because they're just gonna skip through all this shit. And
Yeah,
go
you're-
straight to the.
Go straight to the MRI update. Yeah, everybody cares that much. So the sign was, it was like, be nice or go to Vail.
Yeah.
So the difference between Vail and Aspen is like Vail was, built up in like starting, I don't know, in the 90s or something, 80s
Yeah.
maybe. But it's kind of like downtown Walnut Creek, like on the slopes. So it's kind of like, doesn't have the charm. It doesn't have like these beautiful old buildings. And, Aspen was actually like a copper mining town, I think copper and silver. And so it was actually like a town before it was a ski town. And it's a gorgeous place. So highly recommend it. And the snow is awesome. Had a good time, just racking my body up, making sure I still feel 41. And
Well, it wasn't that long ago that I was like on the slopes with you, and I felt like you were saying that every time you fell, you felt like your back was getting better. Like somehow it was like adjusting you for free. But it sounds like that's not the case. It sounds like you almost.
well, no, like everything was fine. But then once I think my muscles, like when your muscles get sore, right? Like if you go on a run and you haven't ran for like 2 months,
Yeah.
your legs are going to be sore. So I
Yeah.
think that the muscles in my back, like they held up during the day, and then once they were like, okay, we're build up lactic acid and whatever else, they tighten up, and then everything's just like,
Yeah.
now you're screwed. So yeah, that's it.
Should we give like tips on backs, or do you want to get off this subject?
On backs, what tips do you have on backs?
Can we get any tips for you? Because
Yeah, send in your tips. What would you do?
all right. Well, we could jump into Vineyard Update.
We could do that. I want to talk about your forehead too at some point, but
Wow, you got to bring that up.
We'll get there. If you're talking shit about me, I'm gonna
Oh my
want to talk
gosh!
some shit about you.
Now we're gonna get into this.
All right, let me make sure I make a note of that.
Okay, make a note. You have to talk about my forehead, but that's good because then people are gonna now they're looking at my forehead, and I'm sure Chad's probably zooming in on it. Chad, Chad, I see you, Chad. I see him smiling. He's zooming in.
Zooming.
All right, we'll get to that. But before we do, look at this. When you talk about cane pruning in 60 seconds or less.
Yeah. Well,
cane pruning.
We're just gonna watch it. Okay, go for it.
60 seconds or less. You want to come through and cut off any of this unneeded wood so that you're focusing all the energy of the vine on just the buds that are going to be fruitful. We have the general 4 canes here. We're going to take these lower ones.
Drop it down
We're going to cut this down right about there. We're going to tie this on in a sec. We're going to do the same thing with this upper right about here. So we want to make sure the fruit zone is nice and clear. We're going to come back through and we're going to tie them. What we're looking for here is nice separation of each one of these buds so that we have a nice fruit zone here and here. Canopy grows up right here with good air circulation, good light penetration. So now it's complete. We got our 4 canes all tied down, ready for the
If you're not watching the video, it just sounds like I'm talking gibberish.
No, I'm glad that we got to intro with this. So, I mean, pruning is like a big thing, before harvest, like we've talked about before all the
it's like
festivities
the kickoff
and everything.
Of the season.
The kickoff of the season,
really the first thing you do in the year, and it's really important because you do want to limit the amount of growth that the vine can push, right? So you just want quality positions, quality shoots, quality crop, and that's kind of where it all starts. If you just let a vine continue to grow, you can see them down in riparian areas, like going down to a river or something, and you'll see a native grapevine, and they're mostly I call it spindly growth, like little thin shoots and everything, and it's just trying to get out wherever it can, and the strong will succeed and the weak will die off. But with pruning, it's just for us in agriculture, it does give us the opportunity to balance out a vine based on where it's growing. And this year, it's been a really cold and wet spring, so we want that soil profile to dry out, so the roots flush and then the vines start to react. You get some sap flow, and then they finally push out their shoots. Well, we're still waiting on that in most areas. This date, we usually have that in February, especially on the Central Coast, and it's all very delayed this year. So we got to get out there and slowly go through our pruning instead of having to rush through it, which is what's been happening over the last, I'd say, 5 or 6 years. So Vineyard Update is, now that it's finally drying out, we'll be able to get out there and cultivate the ground. So cut down all of so we've already pruned, right? All of those shoots are in the center of the row with the cover crop we planted last fall or early winter. And those have different components to it, but generally speaking, it's adding more organic matter to the soil, but also some nitrogen with things like legumes that are nitrogen fixating in the roots. So you want to cut all those down, chop up all the old wood from your pruning, and then turn that over into the soil so that you can add back to the soil. So that's kind of how we operate for a monoculture, like one crop, that you can't do rotational crops. So you got to add something in the middle of the row every year so that you can give something back to the vineyard.
Nice. And
so that's what we're doing right now.
And every year, you have to it has to change with the environment and the weather, like you're saying. Sometimes you're gonna be doing it a little bit later than usual. You can always just have to adjust with it.
Yeah, and I mean sometimes you're rushing through it. Once you see those buds swell, because once you have your buds push and you have shoots, you can't prune. Otherwise, you're going to break off that new growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
While you're ripping all the shit out of the vines. So then you got to rush through and get it done. So this year it was nice to have a little extra time.
And when we were watching that video, with the setup, so also there's difference in different trellis kind of systems and things that you can use, right?
Yeah. So the one I was explaining there was cane pruning. That was very basic cane pruning. I didn't even go into replacement spurs and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But from a social media standpoint, it's one bit at a time.
Yeah.
We can get all the other details, but you go too far and it just people get lost, right? Everybody
You're just trying.
I mean, like right
you're
now,
really trying
on
to
this
find to get the
podcast.
education. Yeah, like on this podcast.
On
like
this podcast, everybody they're tuning out right now. That's it.
I say them with this has always been like the happy balance that I think that you're always trying to find, right? It's like, yeah, we want to give some entertainment, some fun, but please just get some of this education too, right? You got a lot of great information. I know people want to know, but
And then you got these terms up here. I know if you're not watching this, I'll go through it. They're calling it a single cordon, double cordon.
Yeah.
That actually should be unilateral cordon or bilateral cordon.
oh,
yeah.
snap.
And then single guillot. Don't make it fancy.
I
It's
am a
fucking single cane
guillot
prune. And then double
guy?
cane. Geneva double curtain. GDC. Point the shoot tips down. That is supposed to encourage ripeness. The Scott Henry, it's decent for crop, but I don't really like that trellis because you got to move a lot of shoots around. Anyways,
So these are all the different kind, like, and but I've
these
seen,
are like different trellising systems. So you choose like spur or cane as your pruning,
yeah,
and then you choose a trellis that will accommodate like the site. So you see that like open lyre right there,
yeah,
or the lyre is what they're saying it is. So that's like you got 4 cordons or maybe 2 cordons, but overall that's like for a really big vine. So you're gonna have, see, like you got heavy soil, a lot of water, and the vine needs, it's gonna need more space for more to grow more. So you want to put something, big out there. We like low vigor sites. We like, nutrient deprived areas as far as soil goes, so that the vines are already like in some balance in a way. And we like to go with, generally speaking, what I'll just call is single or double cordon or cane pruned.
okay, got it, yeah. And I've seen, and then we have like the different sites where you have the site there is at Taylor Lane.
That's a funky one.
Yeah.
It's like a trellis, like a pergola trellis, like above your head.
Is pergola on there? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's correct. Yeah, so it's like really high and it's above your head. Now that it's set up like that because of the way for the sun is hitting?
Yeah, think about like solar panels. That's
Yeah.
how I describe it. So like you have every vine row as like, the canopy is leaning over above your head. So
Yeah.
it's like laying nearly flat, more like at a 15-degree angle facing south. And so it's like a solar panel where it's just maximizing the amount of sun exposure to the canopy.
Yeah.
And it works well out there. I mean, that's the far coast. That's like that place is so damn cold. And I mean, it's colder than anything in Oregon. And it's got its own appellation now. Finally, they call it, I don't know who came up with this, very technical because there's already a Sonoma Coast. This is West Sonoma Coast.
West Sonoma Coast.
So if you were getting technical about it, it'd be West Sonoma Coast in Sonoma County.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
And then are you excited that it like finally became an appellation?
This
Or
is
are you
what
like,
happens
just like,
when you get everybody's opinion. You end up with something so shitty and vanilla. It's like, fucking grow some balls. Same issue with our politicians. Like, here we go.
There we go.
Fucking
Hard talk with
make
Joe.
some decisions.
You don't expect. Oh, you thought it was gonna be just boring. We're just gonna be just talking about. Not that it's boring, right? I mean, this is really
Yeah,
interesting
if you
stuff.
try
but,
to
like,
please everyone-
you should have stayed in because he might just get political on you.
You never know.
Yeah.
If you try to please everyone, though, what happens?
You can't please everyone.
You get nothing accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like going over. You're just be overthinking.
Yep.
For
And
the rest of your
then
time.
you have this idea that was like up here that was really a good idea.
Yeah.
And then it goes down all these stairs.
Yeah.
And finally it ends up with like some vanilla ass version of what the intention was that's actually not going to get anything done.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
this whole, did you see this bill they're trying to put through right now about, they're calling like, banning TikTok?
Yeah. Yes.
Have you heard about all the shit that's in there?
Yeah. Like why they're banning it. I mean, why they want to ban it, and
It's not about, they want, like, this is like way government overreach, like way like Patriot Act kind of shit.
Because they just grilled the CEO on it. That was like a little while back too, which provided them they weren't really happy at all.
Well, I mean,
Like,
I
he
don't
couldn't
give a
really
shit if
say
they ban
anything.
TikTok, but I just don't want like a bill to go through where it pretty much grants like, a quasi-government agency to have oversight into everybody's online activity.
Yeah.
and everything they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a lead into that.
I mean, I don't have dick pics, but like you might, and they can have access to that, you know?
Are you serious?
Anyways.
I mean, honestly, I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna ban it. But I mean, like TikToks, they're already. I mean, I feel like they're always like a step ahead too. I mean, they're already kind of putting that with Lemonade. You know, they're already got like their other platform that they.
Oh, that's
they put
right.
out,
Yeah,
which you're gonna be a part of too.
Am I?
Yeah. Well, you don't even know it, but you got
Dude,
it.
I don't know.
Already.
You guys just
you're gonna be
pull the puppet strings. I'll just be here dancing around.
It's for creators like yourself. But yeah, I feel like there's always just going to be like a new thing. I mean, they can get rid of that because if it's linked to China and then it's, for whatever reason, but then put another one out. But at the same time, if you think about it, like all these platforms are really, they're also like collecting their own information and pictures and all those photos, and like they're taking all that too, and dick pics, I guess, if you have them out there. Not that we do, but if you do, they probably have them.
But at the same time, like, do you think that you're that important? Like, I mean, first of all, I'm not going to give them like my social security number and shit like that. Like, if I wanted to get paid by TikTok, then I'd have to provide all of this information. I'm like, nope, that's too far.
But they wanted to.
Oh, yeah, they want everything. Yeah.
I think you were you thought.
I'm like, fuck
I
that.
think it was funny though too because you were kind of like, oh, I mean, like, how much money am I going to be getting from TikTok? I mean, it's not really crazy too.
Yeah,
I mean, I know you thought about. You're like, should I give up wine and just go straight? Should I just put all my interest in?
Be done.
Like, should we have like a meeting? And, you had a meeting. You should have a meeting with like your top videos, of like you in a fucking Elvis suit dancing and fucking shaking your ass and like whatever, getting wine poured on you and stuff, and just kind of like bring everyone together, like the sales and stuff like that. And be like, I'm thinking this is the way we're gonna go though. I think we're gonna like stop this whole wine thing, and we gotta really focus on where the money is.
Too much
we gotta
work.
Because if I could get up.
Oh man, but I do think like, is it really? Like, what are they gonna do? Like, they've got like millions of people. Like, they're not like profiling people. They're not trying to. I don't think they're really trying to like take advantage of shit. Maybe they are. If you're a politician, I would hope they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
keep those guys clean. Fucking assholes.
Are we gonna go? Are we gonna go there?
Yeah, no, we're gonna stop right there.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna segue over to your forehead.
Oh, great. Well, I'm glad we could do that. I'm glad you stayed. I hope everyone stayed tuned. They didn't switch over.
So what was that, like 2 weeks? Was that 2 weeks ago? We were at shooting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like 2 weeks ago.
And it looks like it has not healed yet.
So I recently was just like, hey, I acquired some guns legally. And
that's a first
it from the
for you.
Yeah, dude, don't. We're gonna have to edit that out. So yeah, but I knew that you, being the gun enthusiast, and you were always big on guns, even when we were like growing up and stuff. Like, I mean, with hunting and stuff like that, you were more like equipped and like knew. I mean, you were introduced to it, knew a lot about them. I think like my experience was really like my dad was like, "This is a shotgun." So just like, here you go, pull the trigger. I shot it for the first time. I remember I think I was like fucking like 8, and it fucking blew me back.
Oh yeah.
It was like one of those like double barrels. Like, he didn't like warn me at all or anything.
It's just It
just fucking fell my ass.
Threw you into the fire.
Yeah. And my shoulder, dude, my shoulder was like sore for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But anyways, but you took me out, and then dude, like, can we just like, some of those guns, like, you brought a lot out. I mean, was just handguns. We had rifles out there.
Well, I think I tried to get like every type of general type of gun out there. That's what I was thinking. That's what I like to do is like, when you're showing people, you want them to understand there are all these different options. So like rifles, you've got your semi-autos, you've got lever action, you got bolt action. Like, those are pretty much your basics, and automatics, which we can't have here in California. Shotguns, you got over and under, side by sides, autos, and pump, and lever action, I suppose. And then pistols, you just got different platforms. So it's, it could be A revolver could be which I'm not a big fan of revolvers. A lot of people like them, or like a 1911, whatever. So we brought them all out there, and I had some big rifles. And I'm going to just jump straight to the story, because if you can zoom in on Chris's forehead, he's got like a third eye. There you go. Yeah, you look like fucking Harry
Dude, I got
Potter.
the Harry Potter fucking lightning bolt.
So when you're doing long range shooting or like with a scope, you got to make sure that the distance between your face or your eye and the scope is far enough away, and that the butt of the gun is planted firmly in your shoulder.
You're such a dick, dude.
And something was wrong when Chris was shooting.
Something was wrong.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But the scope came back with the recoil of the gun and slammed him in the forehead, split his forehead open.
Twice.
And he didn't even complain about it. He just kept on going. And then I was like, what the fuck happened? He's like, I see it. And so that's going to be a lasting scar. You do have the Harry Potter look.
Well, I've been putting I did the
what is that shit called?
triple antibiotic.
Well, there's triple antibiotic. What is the scar cream called?
The Neosporin. I was putting the Neosporin on it. But what? The scarring? What, vitamin E?
No, it's not. It's something else.
Yeah. That I should be using, you're saying?
Yeah, there's something for scars. Because I had two cuts on my forehead.
Yeah.
I walked into.
I'm actually looking at your you have multiple scars.
Yeah. I've done a lot of. I do. My
Like,
forehead
there's a
takes
lot.
some damage.
Hold on a second. Have you been fucking getting hit with a scope this whole time?
No, man, but I walked into a barbed wire fence with my forehead.
Yeah, bro. Can we
a couple
zoom in
things.
on Joe's forehead right now and investigate his scars?
All right, so I want to tell you, this is one of the problems with phones, right? I was down in Argentina. We got our Argentinian project going on.
But-
Trilastin.
Trilastin.
There you go. It's for stretch marks.
Mater-
Chris. There you go.
Maternity stretch mark cream. Okay. So, Art, I guess I will put that on my forehead.
It's a
Yeah.
citrus scent.
Thank you. Oh, citrus.
Okay,
I'm
so
glad there's a scent.
I'm on my phone and I'm shooting a text out or whatever, and we're walking into one of these vineyards in Argentina.
Yeah.
And I see there's two posts, like barbed wire on the sides and everything, and there's two posts, meaning that is where you walk through to get into the vineyard, right? And the gate's open. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So walking through, and all of a sudden, it's just I just feel this thing and I just step back. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I look up, at about, 5 feet high or so, to hold those two posts together, they strung a piece of barbed wire around the two because of the tension of the rest of the fence, pulling it apart.
Yeah.
So to keep the two together at the top at 5 feet high. And so I walk in, I have these two barb gashes straight down my forehead. And we're out in the middle of this is out Uco Valley, southern end of Mendoza, way out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And go into some convenience store, couldn't find anything. And so bought a bottle of vodka and just started pouring vodka on my and then wrapped my head up with a handkerchief. That was it. So I got a couple of those scars. I'm just glad I didn't poke my eye out.
In a handkerchief? You're pulling some some Rambo shit.
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to find a picture of that. It looked
right?
for a couple weeks I looked pretty badass,
Were you walking when you were doing walking through the vineyard stuff? Were you with people on the team? Were you with some people that you didn't know?
No, it was me, Lopez, and this girl that we'd been working with down there, Mariella.
Okay, so the girl that you've been working with,
Yeah.
what did she think? When
when you do something and nobody says anything, they just have this look, you turn around and you're like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck?
And you're just dripping fucking blood, yeah. And then you go to the store. You probably just roll into the store, buy a bottle of vodka, just bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
And then this guy definitely needs a bottle of vodka.
Let's-
And then you just walk out there, fucking dump it on your head, wrap it up. You're like, all right, let's go do some more touring
That's what we did.
of the vineyards.
That's exactly what we did. Yeah.
Nice.
But that reminds me of the dead Mike story, because that was the same effect. This is at your house.
Oh, with the
Over
wine glass.
Christmas or something, I think.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. And I show up, I'm totally sober, and dead Mike is already dead Mike. He's he drank way too much that night, I think. So,
Well,
so
yeah.
I show up late, you guys are finishing dinner, and we're all just talking and everything. It must have been, I don't know, 6 or 8 people. And his head just starts wobbling a little bit, and you guys have these big old, big crystal bowled wine glasses.
Yes.
And he just bobs down and smashes his forehead, breaks the glass, pops back up like, what's going on? And everybody's just silent like, holy fuck. That was a bad cut.
No, it was the glass was
The
sticking
glass is
out.
still sticking out of his forehead.
And the glass was sticking out, and we were like at there like a whole dinner, and then and it was right. You're right. It was one of those moments where like no one really, everyone was just like,
Just
and he
silence.
was like chill, because he took the hit, and
He had no idea what happened.
Yeah, I'll definitely. It's a good story. I'll have to like maybe like bleep his name out for like.
Well,
because...
dead Mike. Nobody knows Dead Mike. Come on, we're not gonna use his real name.
Well, some
he just
people
goes
do
by Dead
after
Mike.
that story though. But like when he looked at, but I remember like you were the only person he said it, and he had like the shard sticking out,
Yeah.
and you were like, oh, and you were like the first person to be like, dude, we can't go through the rest of dinner like this. I mean, I know that we still have dessert, but like someone's got to like tend to this. I think you like went up, we took it out.
Yeah.
We did some like doctoring up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun times.
That's a way to really make a dinner like memorable. You know what I mean? Like to.
Yeah, like a gash in your head. Nothing.
Hey, we still had dessert though, and it was good. It was fine.
I feel like next time I have a dinner party, it's like,
Oh, you know what?
all right, I'm gonna cut my pinky
this.
off so that you all remember this dinner.
You know what? I'm gonna jump in on for the sake of Dead Mike too. But speaking of wine glasses, should I share my wine glass story?
Yeah. What is yours?
Dude, come on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't forehead. I was still thinking like up in the head.
Dude,
yeah.
did you forget? This
No,
is a good.
No, this is a good one. Yeah, share
Right?
this. Share
Should I
your
fucking
story.
do it? I mean, it's wine glass. We're still on the wine subject. Please do it. This is wine glasses.
You got
So I have
fucked in
learn.
the ass with
Yo,
a wine glass.
Well, fucking shut the fuck up, dude. I did not get fucked in the ass. Okay, I'm gonna tell the story now since you just said that, dude. You're such a dick.
I knew that.
I did not
yeah,
though, dude.
I knew that was gonna get you motivated.
We had just. So we've talked about this before, but we had the Wine University, also known as Copper Cane Immersion.
Yeah.
This is something that Joe does every year, which is really great, where we get like a select group of people. You've done it with distributors, you do it with a team though every year usually, and this gives like new employees or people that haven't done it, team members, to really get immersed and like do this 3-day, 2-day, well mostly like 2-day intensive of winemaking, the whole dirt to bottle experience.
Yeah, you're starting with picking,
dude,
going to fermentation, and everything.
It's fucking awesome, dude, and it's always really great. So we did that, and it was just the first day, and I think we just had gotten like the grapes done, we did the punch down and everything, and then we're gonna wait till the next day for it to ferment. But we get to go to the grill. There's this restaurant right by where we make the wine in the winery, and to kind of like celebrate, right? I'm on the right track.
You're right. You're right.
And so we're there. And I remember, so we're all there and we're outside, and everyone's just kind of mingling and drinking wine and stuff like that. And I'm in the middle of like telling the story, and I'm actually talking to one of the winemakers there, Jim McMahon.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to him and some other people, and I'm in this story, and I'm in the middle of this story, and if you can kind of picture this, but there's like some kind of like loose, it's kind of like this loose kind of like sand, like gravel, and then like right behind me is like a ledge, a stone ledge. And I know the ledge is there. I go to this place all the time. And I kind of looked back before I see the ledge there. And when I'm telling the story, I feel my legs, I'm like kind of doing this movement, and I feel like my legs like slipping. And I thought in my head, and when I was in the middle of the story, I'm like, I had that quick thought, like I'm kind of slipping, and I'm going to actually just, instead of like fall, and kind of embarrass myself during the story, I'm just going to sit on this ledge and make it seem like I just like, made a moment.
Yeah, yeah.
And like everyone's just kind of like watching me and stuff. And so I go and I just like let myself to go sit. And then all of a sudden I feel like it didn't even like sting. Like
really?
I felt pressure. And it was pressure. And
you're feeding into my story.
And hold on. And I dude, Art, like, did you have to audio your laughing there?
Oh, that's funny. I'm with Joe on this one.
Okay,
yeah.
we're almost there. Okay, so as you must all know, that like while I was falling back, at some point someone had put an empty wine glass on the stone ledge behind me. So when I was going down, I had sat on this wine glass. Okay, and so basically the cup or the whole wine glass just had broke apart, and the stem had become this like. This spike of like, of just danger.
No, I mean, I got to
and
see
aggression.
it. You had, you know, you're lucky
It's
that
like-
didn't go in the butthole.
And so I said, so I remember I hit it, and I like felt the and I popped back up, and I remember I locked eyes. Dude, come on! No, that's not what it looked like at all. It was sharp. No, it was skinny too. And there was no balls. Art.
What the fuck is that, Art?
Did they put like? Yeah. Why are you doing like a glass? This is not. Yeah.
Art's looking up
Okay,
glass
anyways.
dildos.
So I remember I hit it and like I popped back up. I knew something was wrong, and I looked at Jim. His eyes were like wide, and he had that moment that you're talking about with the barbed wire, where he's just like. And I remember he just leaned in, and no one else really noticed what had happened. It was just like him and I, and he like leaned in. He's like, "Did it go inside?" And I was like, "No, bro, but I could get the fuck out of here." And he was a true homie, dude, because he just grabbed me and like nothing was said. We just fucking left.
Yeah.
Right. And so we actually head because the winery was like right by there, and we're heading to the bathroom in the warehouse. And we go straight in there, and we go into the bathroom. And I remember, like, we go in there, and I could just look at my jeans, and they were dark jeans, but like I could see that they were like kind of soaked. There was like some blood. There was a lot of blood going on. And I remember, like, I looked at him, and we kind of had this moment, and I was just like, "Hey, bro, like, I know we're cool, like we hang out and work and stuff like that, but we're about to get really close because I need you to fucking look at this thing, and I need you to tell me like what's going on. Do I need to go to the hospital?" And I knew it didn't go in the hole, okay? Like, everything was fine.
Yeah, that would have been a rough recovery, man.
This is like, I felt it in my cheek. It was, my right cheek.
But it was like right at the crease of the bottom crease of your cheek, right? Like it was like in a bad spot still.
It was where my butt cheek kisses my hamstring. That's the way I worded it when I was on morphine in the hospital. But I'm jumping ahead. So like I was there. I remember I was just like, "Hey, you gotta check this out." So I just, just true homie. I pulled it down, and he was just like, and it didn't even take. He was just like, "Oh shit, we got to go to the hospital." Like he didn't even like invest. He was just like, "This is not good." And so he took me, dude. He drives a really nice car, dude. Like nice, like BMW.
Yeah.
He let me just jump in the front seat, no towels down or anything. I was like really kind of like, dude, I'm like bleeding stuff. He's like, just get in. Like you need to go. Like I just saw that stuff. And so we're like just going, and we're just like cruising and stuff like that. And then we're like going, and like we're just like going to the hospital. We're on our way, and like the good thing is he had some friends there, or he had a good friend there that was like the head of ER.
Yeah.
And he had like kind of called ahead and stuff like that. And so we were just going, and I remember like too, he was like,
well, and this is Napa Valley, right? So it's like a 30-45 minute drive from like
yeah,
the winery
yeah, you're right.
to the hospital. It's not like, I think everybody thinks
yeah.
of like a hospital, like, oh, you'll be there in like 10 minutes. No, like we're in BFE,
Yeah. So like, yeah, and I was, and I'd been working, I've been working that thing all day and stuff like that. And like, the other thing too is that he was like looking at me, and he just like kept looking, and like, I was like, "What, dude? Like, what's going on?" He's like, I just don't understand. He's like, "You also, we just got there, and you haven't even been drinking." And I was like, "I know. I have no excuse. This was a total like."
I love how Jim's first thought is like, how did you do this not being drunk? Like,
It was like that was like, I was like, I'm glad you made that point. That like, yeah, I can't even blame that. I can't say that was like wasted, right, or whatever. So yeah, but we got there. Jump ahead, and also I will say this though. Once I got in the emergency room and everything was there, but this was it turned out to be like 29 stitches.
And there was no
a big
glass left
splash.
inside. I know. I saw the
No,
cut. I
dude,
saw the
but,
cut.
like-
Did they have to pull glass out?
They had to pull jean out. There was pieces of my jean pants that like got in there. It was gnarly, man. Oof. And then also it was seriously no joke. It was like one of those movies where the first like the nurse came in and was like, "Okay, like what happened here?" And I was like, "Sat on a wine glass." And they're like, "Okay, like let me see." And then they were like, "Oh," like they're like, and they called in other people. Like they called in a group. Like next thing I know, like I'm just there, butts up. I got like 3 different doctors. I feel like, and nurses. I felt like they wanted to give like a tutorial of being like, "Okay, this is something you don't ever see, but it can happen." And we just want to say,
This
we
is
told
wine
you like
country.
this is sketch. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so they doctor me up. But I will say this: you are a good friend, because remember. You were like talking to me on the phone.
Yeah.
You like call me because like you heard about it. Like word got around.
Dude,
That's how the fucking nap is too.
You left like you just were whisked out of there by Jim. I don't think you said anything to anybody.
I didn't
it was
say
just
anything,
like
and I want to
check
hold that
the
in.
cut, go to the
Look,
hospital, and then like
man.
nobody knew what happened until afterwards.
Can we be like straight up? Like I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
I didn't want anyone to ever know, but word got around.
Yeah.
Right. But then you were having dinner at your restaurant Aval.
Oh yeah.
And you know how I just love that burger.
So yeah.
And you actually brought me a burger in the hospital, and I have like these photos of like me again with my butt in the air,
your
nurses,
ass
doctors just laughing at my butt or just checking it out, giving a whole like a demonstration while I'm just eating a burger.
Oh yeah.
On morphine, like just feeling good. But yeah, dude, I still got the scar. But the cool thing is that the scar where it was, in the placement, like I said.
Yeah, right in the crease.
Right in the crease.
Yeah.
Really accents it. I feel like it like really kind of perked it up. I just need it on the other side.
It's like a wine country butt lift or something.
Yeah, I can just kind of like I can just tilt to the side and be like, boop. You know what I mean? It just like really kind of pops it up. But anyways, wine glasses. Be careful.
Yeah, don't sit on them. It's not recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not recommended at all. Don't put your forehead into them either.
And Bob Wire.
How did we go off on that tangent?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We went off on a big tangent there. Well,
I mean, do we want to jump into something else, or?
I think. Well, I should just say maybe we should just end with. Is there anything more that you want to say about vineyards? With the updates, I mean, anything else before we get to harvest? I mean,
like right now,
the trellis. I mean, I know people are really interested.
I mean, we'll talk about it. Like, do vineyard updates regularly, but like
because
online.
I want to keep people like.
Yeah, if people want to go, but like they want to look at TikTok or Instagram or something like that, we'll have like the short kind of bits and pieces of like pruning, cultivation. We'll get into shoot thinning next once we have bud break everywhere, and then we'll get into leafing, crop thinning, any kind of hedging or trimming we need to do, continued cultivation as well, and then eventually our last crop drop, and then our at 90% variation. Which is always really an interesting one. Like we're putting together a movie right now, or a video.
Yeah.
That will be kind of like, call it a 5-minute video that goes through every aspect of what we do in the vineyard. I mean, not like into extreme detail, but you'll be able to see the entire growing season from pruning all the way to harvest, and why we do the things we do. But the 90% variation drop is when we're like almost at like 90% color.
Yeah.
Because grapes start off green, red grapes start off green, and then they'll start getting sugar, and then they turn, purple. So we go through in our last pass is that we cut off anything that is like still green. So knowing that it's delayed, because once it's all colored up, you can't tell that there's a difference between, one cluster and another as far as ripeness. I mean, you could taste every single cluster, but nobody's going to do that. You get diarrhea.
Yeah. Wait, speaking of the diarrhea.
Dude, when I was farming table grapes in Mexico, because that was, like, it's all about, taste and looks, right? And so you're going through and you're just tasting everything, and, like, it's so acidic at times. You just, you're like taking shit that's going to stop you, help plug you up. It's not good.
Wait, so you did get diarrhea?
It was a balance. It was you were either constipated or you had diarrhea living in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because partly the grapes, but just that you're eating a lot of fruit that you probably shouldn't be eating that level of fruit with that much acid in it. Yeah.
You could never really pinpoint what was causing it. You just knew that you did a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
That could be a part of it.
So yeah, the growing seasons we'll continue to go through these, but I think online is like, TikTok or Instagram, best place to find out, kind of like get an idea as to what we're doing if you're interested. So please check in on that. But
should we jump to some horrible bosses?
Oh, that's right. We got horrible bosses.
We got some horrible bosses. We want to get to that, right?
Dun.
Oh yeah, you got the.
What do we got?
Yeah, the sheet. Let's just stop at
Okay, here we are.
The top one. All right, and this is okay, like we do it all the time. Horrible.bosses@coppercane.com. Please send in your stories. We're getting these horrible boss stories. It's a segment that we do at the end. It gives us a chance to hear your horrible boss stories And then we get to not only learn from them, but also just give our fucking 2 cents.
Yes.
And feel for you and what you went through.
All right. I'm gonna get started here. And we don't mention names. This is all anonymous.
All
so,
anonymous.
Go ahead and put whatever detail you want in there. And we will change the boss's name unless we don't want to.
I mean, unless you would really want us to blast him. I mean, I don't know. I guess we could do that, right?
When I used to work at a coffee shop, we had a shift lead that would accept weed as currency through the drive-through window in exchange for free coffees. Okay. Unknown how many nugs were exchanged per coffee. I love it. But eventually, the owner found out. The owner found out because another employee on the shift saw the exchange, and the shift lead bragged about it and laughed it off. The owner was pissed and spoke to her in private, but also yelled at everyone at the next shop meeting. But she still didn't get fired or demoted, but we did lose some business.
Oh, you did. But
And then it just says laughing my ass off. Okay. I mean, this just sounds like, laziness.
wait,
I mean, you're at a coffee shop. Like, I think the owner maybe should have pushed a little harder and like
on the weed sales? Oh,
Can you please shut off your cell phones during recording?
you got your nugs coming in. Is that it?
I had a little
Okay.
alarm for nugs.
So
Wait.
she didn't get fired. The owner, so the lead, whatever, the shift lead, didn't get fired. I mean, I want to know more about this story though. Like, is this like No, it's not a Starbucks. It's got to be independent, right? If like the owner is actually
No,
there.
dude, that's not a Starbucks.
Maybe it's one of those bikini barista
Even if
things.
it's franchised, like you would. I mean, the fact that there was no they didn't even get demoted.
No, nothing. Yeah.
It was almost like I don't know, like, and then it's.
I'd like a little more context. Like, is this in, some bougie area? Like, did this occur in, Aspen? Or was this in, like, Modesto?
Yeah.
I
mean, if you had to guess, though, where would you think it was? Where you could sell weed out of, like, some coffee shop drive-through, right?
Well, they weren't selling weed. He would
Or
she would give
okay.
coffees away for weed in exchange.
Which is, wow. I mean, that's just, can you imagine, like, it's just interesting. It's
I just don't know how much, like, what is the value of a cup of coffee compared to, like, is that like a...
I don't know either.
Is it like 2 coffees equals 1 joint? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just kind of like, oh, shoot, I forgot my wallet, but I got some shake here, I think, in my pocket. And you just kind of, shit. That's only enough for a latte, but I wanted like a caramel macchiato. Damn it, You're like checking your friends and stuff. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, so I think that it is stealing, right, in a way, that you're stealing from the shop. The shift lead is stealing from the shop because they're
not getting any
off,
money for the coffee, and you're getting how much weed.
They're getting free weed, and maybe they're selling it afterwards, so they're making extra money.
Yeah.
But there's unrealized income. Like there's no money coming in from those customers.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's shitty people everywhere. I mean, I'd say the shift lead was a dick.
Yeah.
Or a asshole. I think it was a woman.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to assume their pronouns.
Yeah. Oh shit! Did you have to? All right. I just saw Chad's face. He's like, "Yep." Just
this day and age, I don't want to get in trouble for that kind of shit.
No, I know. Let's just.
Anyway, so I think that the owner should have come down harder.
Yeah. You think the owner? Okay. How about this? Here's a good question. What do you think the owner should have done?
Taking the weed.
Said, how much weed did you get?
How much weed did you get?
And also, like, why aren't you selling weed? Why aren't you making us money? It'd be like, how do we turn this around? I think he like went back and just like we gotta get this business model correct. You should be selling the weed out of the window and getting the money.
Cash only.
Right?
Cash only.
Why do we have all this weed?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's why he didn't demote or fire, because maybe he was just like, dude, I actually have all this weed now. So I'm going to actually just quit the coffee business.
They just got like a side business going.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Thank you for joining us on another Go With Your Palate.
It's been a great time.
Such a pleasure.
All right, we out.